Why is just massively slow? I don't know where I am in the race.
Yeah, P7.
The chaos Ferrari tried to keep under wraps is now wide open for the entire world to witness. And it's worse than anyone could have possibly imagined. The Canadian Grand Prix was supposed to be Ferrari's redemption arc, their big comeback, a weekend to silence the critics, to show that the SF25 could finally deliver under pressure, that the team was united, confident, and fully behind its two superstar drivers. But what happened in Montreal was a meltdown, a maelstrom of chaos, mismanagement, and sheer desperation that didn't just derail a race weekend. It pushed both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc to their absolute breaking points. And now, the proof is out. Leaked team radio exchanges from both drivers have ripped the lid off a team in utter chaos. Drivers querying pit calls in the heat of combat, Hamilton bemused as a car disintegrates beneath him. Crossed wires, missed windows, and deafening silence from the pit wall when the drivers most needed to hear something. These weren't just tactical errors. These were the kind of failures that destroy trust, ignite outrage, and risk imploding a season that's already on life support. Ferrari thought that they might be able to brush this one under the rug. They thought wrong, because what these radio transmissions reveal isn't just a mistake. It's a complete breakdown in driver-team communication. And anger is brewing. Leclerc feels unheard. Hamilton feels betrayed. And Ferrari, they're running out of places to hide. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay with us until the very end, because what you're about to hear isn't just radio. It's the sound of Ferrari coming undone. What made this meltdown even more spectacular wasn't just the poor strategy, it was how public the collapse became. Thanks to the now leaked team radio, fans around the globe were able to hear each moment of disbelief, each strained exchange, each escalating tone of fury from both Hamilton and Leclerc. It was less tension than it was the slow, audible breakdown of trust. And it was happening in real time. For Lewis Hamilton, the frustration wasn't tires or traffic alone. It was the creeping fear that no one on the pit wall actually knew what was amiss with the car. Most revealing moment, when he called in, "Why is this car so slow?" It wasn't rhetorical, it was a cry for help. A 7-time world champion, driving blind, pleading for answers. Seconds later, his voice was cracking with frustration. Out of power. Out of pace, boys. It didn't come out like a report. It came out like a resignation. When the team informed him he was 25 seconds behind, Hamilton snapped, "Where have I lost 25 seconds?" That line, sharp, stunned, full of disbelief, summed up just how completely disconnected he felt from the strategy unfolding around him. But it wasn't just the pace, it was the car. "I've got no rear," Hamilton grumbled. "Brake pedal's getting low. I'm not able to stop the car." These were not minor grievances. They were warning signs. Hamilton was genuinely doubtful if he was going to make it to the end of the race. And his engineer's response? Almost surreal. It's quite balanced. Balanced? While Hamilton fought to keep the car on the road, sliding off lines, brakes fading, starving for information, the pit wall reaction showed a shocking disconnect. It was the picture of a team that wasn't just slow, they had no clue how bad it really was in that cockpit. And while Hamilton's confidence fell apart lap by lap, Charles Leclerc was imploding in his own nightmare. The Monegasque driver was trying to manage tires, read the changing conditions, and stay in the fight. What did he get in return? Confusion. First, the now infamous came over. Plan B. Leclerc's reaction? Frosty and succinct. "I think Plan C, concise, measured, irritated, but seconds later, chaos." "Why have we boxed?" Leclerc protested. "Why did we box?" The pit wall's reply? "We're on Plan B." It was like two people having completely separate conversations. H just informed them his tires were still holding. He wanted to stay out, but before that message could even be processed, the team had already committed to a strategy shift. His answer sharp and telling. "Yeah, but I was just telling you tires were fine." That subtle pause between the two parts of his sentence, that was a driver trying to stay calm while boiling inside. Later he delivered the most damning verdict of all. I don't understand this choice. Those 6 words have since gone viral because they don't just describe one bad pit stop. They sum up everything Ferrari fans and now Ferrari drivers have come to fear, that nobody on the pit wall really knows what's going on, that decisions are being made without logic, without clarity, and worst of all, without the input of the people actually in the car. The most shocking part of all, neither Hamilton nor Leclerc was being unreasonable. These weren't the rants of frustrated athletes who had simply lost a race. These were calm, controlled surgical breakdowns of strategy gone wrong, and that's what makes it so devastating, because both drivers were trying to keep the situation under control, but it was the team that failed them. What we heard on the radio was just the surface. What we saw on their faces after the race told the rest. Leclerc staring into space as if replaying every misstep. Hamilton quietly packing his things, not with anger, but with the look of a man wondering why he ever left Mercedes, and in the middle of it all, a Ferrari garage that didn't look like a team fighting for a championship. It looked like a team imploding from within. These weren't isolated incidents. They were the loudest warning signs yet that this Ferrari project, this supposed dream pairing of Hamilton and Leclerc, is starting to fall apart before it's even had the chance to shine. Not because the drivers aren't fast, but because the people giving the orders are getting it so wrong. And now that these radio messages are out in the open, the world is listening. Fans are asking the same questions as the drivers. How did this happen? Who's making the calls? And most importantly, can Ferrari fix it before both of their stars lose faith for good? The fallout from this disaster won't just be internal, it's now public. The fans have heard it, the rivals have heard it, and perhaps most importantly, the Ferrari board has heard it. You don't need to be a strategist to realize what's happening when two world-class drivers, one a seasoned legend, the other a longtime scooter favorite, are both questioning the calls, the communication, and the competence of the team live over the radio. It sends a message louder than any engine scream. Hamilton left Mercedes not just to chase one final title, but to become part of something historic, a revival, a comeback with Ferrari that would cement his legacy. Instead, he's found himself in a nightmare of mismanagement, and while he's stayed composed in public, the Canadian Grand Prix has exposed the cracks beneath the surface. The radio didn't lie. He's furious, he's confused, and most concerningly, he's starting to lose patience. Charles Eller, on the other hand, is no longer the quiet, loyal future of Ferrari. He's visibly tired of being let down after years of trusting the process, of defending the team in front of the media, of shouldering the pressure with dignity. He's now speaking up, and not behind closed doors, but in the heat of the race. His voice, like Hamilton's, is growing sharper, colder, more direct. What's next for Ferrari? That's the terrifying part, because unless something changes fast, this won't just be a one-off. This could become the defining tone of the season, a campaign filled not with podiums and progress, but with leaks, doubts, and drama. The dream of a Hamilton super team will collapse, not because of the drivers, but because the team around them couldn't deliver when it mattered most. So if you're a Ferrari fan, you should be concerned, because Montreal wasn't just a bad weekend. It was a warning, and if Ferrari doesn't act now, this could spiral into something far worse. Not just a lost season, but a broken project. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the next race might not just be about performance, it might be about survival. And trust us, you won't want to miss what happens next.